industry at the moment, Dynamics, because it's not just an application, it's just very important for us. And then, so it's completely an industry because there are lots of company in here and the lots of company doing the lots of implementation, generating products, and then people are occupying on these companies. It's really big industry, Dynamics 365 actually. So yes, this is my second presentation, migration tricks for LogicApps. So the first I would like to start with the basic steps of the LogicApps. What is the LogicApps, and then why we are comparing it with Microsoft Flow, and then some another important items while creating the LogicApps. So what kind of components we have inside of the LogicApps, and then we will build our own LogicApps. Finally, I will share with you some important things related to LogicApps. Let's start. So introduction, building, patterns, settings, and the debugging. This is the today's issue. So, introduction. As you know, on the Dynamics, in the Flow and the LogicApps, there are lots of connectors and the data gateways, and then we are able to connect lots of items via LogicApps and Flow. These are the very similar items, actually, LogicApp to Flow, but I will tell you why they are different from each other. By the way, Common Data Service is the Microsoft's new data model, and then in this data model you can create your entities, you can generate your logics, and then you can generate your user interfaces in the common data services. And then actually Flow is part of these common data services and the Microsoft Office 365 family. This is the main point. But Azure LogicApps is completely different. It's platform as a services. So I will share some extra secrets related to this issue. That's why I have shared here the common data services, because inside of the common data services, Microsoft built a flow system, automated system for the common data services, but LogicApps a completely different system. Let's check why they are different. Microsoft Flows, actually a name is changed, Microsoft Power Automate. I know that, but my presentations are a little bit old. That's why they are saying the Flow, so you know what I mean. Microsoft Flow software as a services, and then it's part of the Office 365 package, but the other LogicApps is part of the platform as a services, and they are completely different things, because inside of the Azure LogicApps, every LogicApps is different entity, and then completely different scenario there is background. This is the important point between these two. Let's check other items, because I will tell you these items with the whens, ofs, and the wheres. When you have to use the Flow, when you have to use the LogicApps. You have to use the Flow for the simple integrations. You have to use LogicApps for the extended and advanced integrations. This is the important point. On the other hand, for the Flow work as a users, and then every user, business users, citizen deployer, or your grandmother can run a Microsoft Flow, generate a Microsoft Flow. But the LogicApps is the more pro item, and then more professionals should do something with the LogicApps as a developer, IT pros, like that. So where we have to use these items, and then Microsoft Flow only available in the browser-based designer, and then LogicApps browser-based designer, the Visual Studio. So that we have both of these. And then Microsoft Flow related Office 365, but the LogicApps related Azure services. On the other hand, you can see here the plans, and then extendability and the integration capabilities are completely different between Flow and the LogicApps. Also, how they are working, Microsoft Flow is a simple flow structure, but LogicApps completely extended version of this flow. So this is the important point. And then flow connectors and the LogicApps connector, they are similar, but the LogicApps connector has ability to more stressful work. This is the important point. Flow connectors working more relaxed. This is the point on the system. So basically what I mean with the relax, I mean they are not carrying the enterprise level data migration behaviors at the background, so they are working the very simple configurations, but LogicApps are working with the very heavy configurations, and then they can handle very different scenarios and the very different situations without any problem, without any getting applications stress. The performance is better on the LogicApps on that point. But Flow has couple of different extra items. An example, mobile app integration buttons, modern app rules, or this kind of things. Run as a user is the different interesting point. Flow related with Microsoft Office 365 licenses. This is the important point. But Azure LogicApps related with the Azure licenses. This is the important point. And then you can there are more development options with LogicApps actually when you compare with the Flow. This is the important point because the development options also available inside of the LogicApps, which means you are able to create LogicApps in the Visual Studio and you can build these applications in the one point in the Visual Studio and distribute them. So this is the point. And then when we completed the check between Flow and the LogicApps, I would like to talk about building LogicApps. For the building LogicApps, we have to know what the items we are able to do in the LogicApps, so that we can trigger an event, we can perform different actions, we have some logics, and then we can trigger the other workflows or the other LogicApps at the background for the run. This is the important points of the LogicApps. So you can select one of these templates in the Azure website when you enter the LogicApps, when you create a LogicApps, and then you will see this type of sequence, and then in here you can select one template or you can create the blank LogicApp. Whatever you need, you can select here. On the other hand, when you do that, there is a simple flow here, like that. In that flow, when record is created in the Dynamics 365 and then send an email. So this is very basic flow in here. So the event, it kicks to the this flow. So flow mean here not Microsoft Flow. So this is the flow, is a structural flow, I would like to say. As a structural flow is calling from the via one action, and then it's follow with the different important action what you need. So in here, as I said before, you can run manually based, or you can run it via Postman style applications, or you can run them via calling the web APIs from the different applications. I mean with the HTTP request, or from the other applications. You can trigger it from the other applications when something changed on these applications. An example, Power Apps, SharePoint, or Dynamics 365, or the SQL Server. Something happened here, a record created, a record updated, or the record deleted. You can run it from the different applications, trigger it actually, and then it can run as a scheduled format. Anytime you can schedule it, and then it will work as a service, always run and up. And then you are able to add dynamic content. An example, if we are talking about the file name, then file name, size, file content, we are able to add. And then other related items, count table, you are able to add these items to the add dynamic content button. Always we are able to use these parameters inside of our LogicApps. For the recurrency, you are able to see here in my screen. So we are able to add interval. So according to our interval here, we are able to change the frequency, minute, hour, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, whatever you need. And then with this interval, it will work at the background and will do the job. When data item is modified, created, or deleted, as I said before, you can trigger any logic app. Also same for the flow as well, Microsoft Power Automate as well. And then same with the Power Automate and the Azure Logic Apps, you can call them from the different applications at the background. They can trigger from the different application environment. Inside of the some triggers, you can see some connectors here or HTTP request. So we have some patterns here. Patterns are very important actually. Let's check some patterns, what kind of patterns we have. So the conditions, if true, you can create actually items inside of the true, and if false, you can create some actions in the false, and then system will check this, any condition. If your condition is true, your true items will run, otherwise false items will run. And the condition based structure is very important here, and you are able to do some different actions here, and or you are able to use and or, and then you can add these items with the different structural behavior inside of the condition. Also, you are able to use the switch. This sequence from flow, but same switch we are able to use in the Azure Logic Apps as well. So you are able to see here there is a one response. If we got to this response, according to response, approved, rejected, or whatever, an example, default. So system is working, and then you can update the items with this response according to what we created inside of the switch. So we have a standard switch item in here as well. Apply to each another thing, so that you can apply you are able to create some collection based something. You can read from the collection based something, and then for this collection you can run one action multiple times for each item in this collection. So apply to each working for that, and anytime in the collection until you stop that, it will work. This is the main point of the one enterprise-based data migration, because what we are doing normally, we are working with the different applications, sometimes SQL databases, sometimes third-party, another applications such as ERP, and then what we are doing, we are retrieving data collection, how many items, I don't know, maybe 1,000, maybe 2,000, maybe 100,000, maybe 500,000. It doesn't matter for the logic apps. So it read all these items and apply your step for each items at the background. And this is our main milestone of our structural data migration. And then do until also we have in the system. This is also related with the flow, but there are some related items we are able to do in the logic apps as well. So you can check the response, and then if occur to something, then we are able to do the background options for the logic apps. And then scoping. Scoping is very important. Why? While reading the one logic apps, we would like to see the clear secret actually, because when I create a logic apps, in my experience, last 3 years, I completely delivered more than maybe 200, 300 different logic apps for the migration process. And then in each items, there were lots of between 50 to 100 different actions. So each step an action for me. And then more than 50 or the 100 different items I have in the each logic apps. So that's why the important point here, you have to see the screen very clear, and then this scope is the grouping the every action for us. This is very important. Then we can check the items by items inside of the scope. This is very useful option at logic apps. And then parallel items you are able to create at the logic apps as well. At the same time, we can create this two items. And then I think delay was related to flow, but we are able to similar items inside of the logic apps as well. So the delay based, yeah, or the recurrence based items possible in the logic apps site. Important point here actually related to logic apps is that you are able to enable disable a logic app anytime. You can clone it, and then always cloning the very useful. Basically, the interesting point, you cannot change name of a logic app. This is the interesting point. And if you want to completely change on the name of the logic app, first you have to clone it. Then after the clone it with the new name, then you can delete existing one. So your new one will be here. This is interesting point, but if you need to change the name, this is the cloning option should be work, and the export option here, so that you can move one so logic app from one instance to another instance via export button. Also inside of the workflow settings, a little bit I would like to talk about here the access control and the allowed inbound IP addresses, because this is important. If you are using the HTTP based logic apps, they can trigger by any IP. And if we are talking about the bulk data import, and then if somebody hacked our system, we can face lots of problems. That's why you can change these settings from any IP to some restricted IP addresses, or also there is a different option here, call from another logic apps. But via that way, system automatically will know that it's called from the another logic app, and then it will run. Otherwise, it's not possible to run this logic app. And this configuration, you always have to check that this one don't leave it to any IP. This is very important point related to logic app, especially for the HTTP requests. And then debugging and errors, how we are debugging these items when they are worked under the screen in the logic app screen, we are able to see the run history, succeed, failed, or whatever, what happened, we are able to see, and then we are able to reproduce these items, and then when it failed, why it failed, what happened, and then what was the problem, we are able to see on the screen, and then according to these information we can change our items maybe if required, or maybe we can correct our data. So basically we are able to see all this stuff in the when we check the failed items in here. On the other hand, as you can see, so for the flow, you can see as a for each items, which item has worked, we are able to see in here. So in the condition, it went to yes area. So you can see on the no area, there's a cross, and then it didn't work, which means the green area is worked, and then this, which means under this condition, if yes block is worked, then we are able to see this. You can, when you look to the yellow tick boxes, green tick boxes, you are able to see the which one is worked. This is very easy to understand, and then this is easy to
Could you please move your screen in the middle? We can't see this.
What you mean with middle?
Because it's gone to the left, the whole screen, the window.
Okay, let me small it. Is it better now? Oh, interesting. Now,
yeah, the whole window itself, the desktop, yeah, top, if it's gone to the left.
Okay, just a second.
Good for me.
Okay, just a second. I will reshare my screen.
That's better.
Okay, is it okay now?
Yeah, that's okay. Thank you.
Now you're able to see.
Just one message. If anyone has any further challenges with seeing the display, I would advise you to disconnect and reconnect, because it was actually appearing fine for everyone else. So if you have any challenges with seeing the presentation, just please leave a message in the chat window rather than disrupting the session. Just a little bit of advice and courtesy for everyone else. Thanks again. Please continue, Baris. Thanks.
Okay. So okay, just a second. So yeah, all the green tick boxes are here, and then you can understand what happened while working to this item. And then inputs and outputs, and then what were the inputs of the items in that example. When item is created in the SharePoint, and then site address, which list, travelers list, and then output to the which items are created, and then what data we got from this SharePoint, this what item created. We are able to get all the information from the system when we are checking all this data. And then for the important point here, while working with the production environment, you can see this orange clock, actually clock style something, and then so basically which is the moving, and then this is saying this is working at the moment. This is very normal when you are working the very high volume data. It will not finish in couple of seconds. Maybe it will work hours and hours. Sometimes it's working with the I'm working. I know one migration took 6 hours in my experience. So in this experience, for the 6 hours, I just seen this orange icon in my screen. So and then after finished everything, I checked what happens in the production side. This can be a little bit improved from the Microsoft side. We can get better notification for the how many items has been completed and how many items we are waiting. This could be changed in the future. I hope it will be changed. But at the moment, just we are seeing this orange icon. On the other hand, as a trick, I would like to say this one: always start your migrations with the HTTP request. An example, I have one HTTP request there. In this HTTP request, I am getting one item as a parameter, which is the start. When start is true, then my migration is starting, and then after that point, I am calling the different item. So my original migration item is different than my start logic apps. So my migration logic apps and the start logic apps are completely different logic apps. Start logic apps just looking for the this one is it start equal true, then calling the original migration logic app. So for the migrations, I think this is the better control mechanism what we are doing at the background. At any time we can call these basic object, basic logic apps from the Postman or the different applications, and then we can check what happened at the background with the original migration application, migration logic apps. So if you submit these to each other, I think this will be better for the migration tricks. On the other hand, for each blocks, you have to be careful if you are using these items, the properties and variables. When you are using the global variables, for each settings, if you don't change your concurrency control, in example, maximum degree of parallelism, I set the 1. If you leave it the standard one, it was I think 10 or 20, I don't remember the number, but there is a different number. These cause problems because of your global variables. So because of the parallelism, it's reading the same item for the different objects. So an example, you can think that we are in the middle of the one SQL migration, and we are in the maybe 50 object, and then system is reading from the maximum of the parallelism. It's working with the 15 different object, and then your third items ID in the 5 items ID in the 7 items the degree in the 10th item. So you are able to see the values are confused at the background, that they are going to the different records. So this is possible, and then you have to be carefully check this concurrency control and maximum degree of the parallelism while you are using the global variables. And then after you completed your check inside of your logic, you have to set these items to different objects or the different values. An example, in that example, you can see agency ID, I am adding the empty. So why I am adding the empty, changing the value to empty, because when it goes to back, system should get the empty. Then if it's empty at the value, this kind of the logics I am able to run inside of the LogicApps. This is the important point. And then when you completed every item, set variable, you have to give the response, you have to generate the response. This is secret from one of my old migrations. And then after the completed each step, I am returning the response to the HTTP object. And then with the example with the ID, then I am looking from another LogicApps if there is an ID, and this completed the job with the status code 200. And then this is a successful completed job, and I don't have any problem with this ID, then I can continue to my migration. This is the important point related to bulk heavy migrations. I think this is the end my presentation. So I'm closing my presentation. Let's do a little bit LogicApps and talk about the LogicApps. I have one first demo here, but I didn't do anything with this one. Let's check what we can do. When a message is received from service bus queue, when HTTP request received, when a new tweet is posted, it doesn't matter what action for the LogicApp. So any action happened, we are able to run it, or we are able to run it with recurrency. In that example, I would like to create blank LogicApp, show you items. Then I can write here whatever I need. If I would like to retrieve data from the SQL, I am writing here the I'm writing here SQL, and then you can see action here, SQL, and related triggers are here. When item is created, when item is modified. And then if I would like to do something with Dynamics, as you can see here, Dynamics 365, I can select, and all the triggers are here. Record is created, updated, deleted, whatever happened. And then if we are talking about the different systems, an example, service buses, or an example, if we are looking for a request, then we can select this. I would like to select the request. Request is retrieved. And then what will I do? I will check this one. This is my JSON object. I am putting my JSON object here. So I'm in properties, startup, boolean, and this is the JSON object. By the way, you are able to do it as removing this. Okay. When I do this, and I'm getting this, generate schema, I am clicking this button here, generate schema. I am just putting my JSON item here. When I say done, as you can see, automatically it's generating this style for me. So type object, properties, start type, you can see here. Then I can continue with the new step. In that point, what I need condition, because I have to check what happened, what data we faced, and then inside of the controls you can see my controls. I already introduced you conditions for each, scope, switch, terminate, until, do until. I say for this one until control, and every control here you can see. Just I would like to take this condition control, something is true. So in here you can see I have one HTTP request received item here. Anytime I am able to change to some settings or add the comment for these items, you are able to see. In that point, what I will do, when I clicked here, you can see add dynamic content button appeared, and then I am able to check the body, header, queries, pet parameters, or the start. Start is my item, you are able to see. Start my item, which comes from here. And then I am able to check it. If start is equal to, this time I will say, if I say true like that, this will not work because this is not a real true. This is still string. This is the important point. While you are working these objects, you have to be careful, and then you have to call true from here as a function. This is the important point. Otherwise, if you write the true here, it will be string and system will not work. Okay. Then, after that point, what can I do? I can go to any connection or any dynamic system, any different system, Power Object, and Power Platform, Common Data Services, objects, any related items I can get here. In that example, I would like to connect to the SQL Server, and I would like to get rows. From which SQL Server? Yeah, I have to change my connection. Database server, I don't remember what they are, just now I will say as reactive tag. No. SQL Server authentication. Okay, SQL Server name, SQL Server database name. I have one SQL here for you. I already prepared it. One SQL object here. I have one connection string here. Show database connection. I think these are my connection parameters. Actually, if I am not wrong, SQL Server window, one of these times, then it should automatically retrieve me, but I don't know why it didn't work at the moment. And then database name, look at the data, logic app test. Logic app test. Oops. Okay. Username is this and my password is okay. Great. Let's see will it work. Use this connection and then database LogicApps table names. Yes, table names are here. You can see. So it successfully connected to my original system. And then I retrieve the items. In here, I have some simple dummy data I created for you before. And then in that example, maybe we can look the languages, ABP languages table, and then display name. And these items we are able to check. ABP languages. And in here, you are able to see I can create some logics here: select query, tab count, skip count, order by, filter query, aggregation we are able to do as well, and then all this stuff we are able to do. And then I don't know, do we need any of these items here? But the important point here, while you are writing the query, an example, just a filter query, I would like that just for demonstration. Normally I will not use this, but is deleted AQ0. So here you cannot write the standard SQL objects. Okay, you have to write the OData filter. This is the important point. So the OData filtering active here, because all this system at the background working with the HTTP objects, and then we are not talking about the standard SQL procedures or the standard SQL behavior here, or the any SQL based query languages. We have OData here, and then you can see we have to write our query like OData format, an example. So this is, I think, okay. This is my get rows. Just I would like to change the name of this get languages. Okay, this is the important. This is also another important trick for you. When you click here, always system take the other items to the name of these objects. Okay, when you put them the standard names, an example, when HTTP request is received or condition, so you can fail with the big objects. So I mean with the large scale LogicApps contains more than 50 to 100 different actions. So you can lose all these items. So you have to give a very detailed name for them while using all this stuff. Okay, so again, I continue with the different action. And in this example, for each values of these items, I would like to create another HTTP request. So I would like to call an HTTP object in here, you can see, so that these will be completely different item, and then post and URI at the moment, I will blank it. I will write just HTTP because I don't have any item here. But the important point, you have to write content type application JSON, because all this stuff should be go between another one with the application JSON. Then for the body items, you can send any data, whatever you need. An example in here, I would like to just send the display name field and the name field. Just in that case, my object should be like this. This is display name and the another one is the name. Now, we are in the important point here. I will send data as a JSON format in here, but where is data? Where is data fields? Because as a display name, I should send the display name, but how can I select the display name here? I am looking at this dynamic content. As you can see, display name is here. Because automatically this system, LogicApps ecosystem, this application, automatically retrieving the table fields. You can see display name icon is deleted, the other items name, tenant ID to do here. All these items are here, is deleted, name, tenant ID, or all this stuff here. So in example, for this one, I will select the display name. Automatically system behavior changed. Did you see that? After these item, I automatically created these HTTP, but system what did? It changed the for each object. So another important point here, if you leave this the for each object like that, you can be failed according to your needs. Sometimes we don't touch this area. Sometimes we are touching to this area. Let's see what we have in the settings of the for each object. Concurrency control is off here. When I open it, concurrency control will be, you can see, opened, active at the moment, and then up to 50 I am able to run. You can see here, to run sequentially, select as the limit 1. So, which means in this concurrency, it will work standard synchronously, not asynchronously. This is the point. Sometimes you have to do this, sometimes you don't need. According to your project needs and to your data, you have to select this. This is completely important point. And then I continue with the name object. Name object is here. So that this is my another object. Now I have completed my first item. Saved the invalid URL. Also, yeah, this is possible. This is logical. I will put a different URL like this here. Copy and paste. That's a stupid URL at the moment. Again. Enter a valid JSON object. Yes, because I didn't put the comma here. Now logic app completely saved. Okay, then I can generate a different logic app, and then just I would like to duplicate this tab. Okay, just I go to home, and then in the logic app side, I will generate another logic app which contains HTTP request. Okay, and review and create. Great. Go to resource. Okay, again, HTTP request received. Now, what type of request I am expecting from here. I'm waiting these two items in here. So just I will write here string, then string, done. System automatically generated this JSON schema for me, as you can see. So just I copied and pasted, just I changed the value area, and then automatically generated the string. And then new item I can create, and then after that point I am able to do everything, because from one side to another side I pass data. I can initialize variable here. Variables, and then initialize variable. Name of my variable, display name, one item, it's string, and then values. You can give a value or you can give it blank, but I am usually giving empty. Initialize, and I am putting the object here. So initialize display name is here, it's ready. And then another variable for another item. Oh, sorry, this is set, wrong one. I will delete this. So then I will take the initialize and name. So again, this is string, and this is empty. Rename, name. So I have two objects here. Then I can do whatever I need. I can check the values, I can check the different things, I can connect the different systems. But what will I do? I will check the value, actually. Then you can see I have two items here. One is the name, another is the display name. In here, first I would like to check display name. Is equality is not equality empty. Okay, that's all right, but it's always empty because between these two, I didn't set any different parameter here. So I will do that. Before that, we had condition check for string objects. Oops. Yeah, between these two, now what will I do? I will check my items. Meantime, I would like to do different things. I would like to create a scope here. And rename initialize variables. This is my scope. Then I am moving these items. Oh, sorry, the initialize variables should be top. Yeah. Okay, yeah. We can put them to the thing. Okay, not initialize, but let's say setup variables maybe. This time we can use this. And then I would like to set the parameters to these variables. The name will come from the name. By the way, you are able to directly use this name object, which comes from the HTTP. What I am doing, I am just demonstrating you how we are using this system. That's why I am telling the different points. So the initializing variable and then initializing the different items. You are able to directly use name object, which comes from inside of this item. This okay, this is also possible, but I would like to do some extra items. So the how we are using this system for the big operations. I am just demonstrating you, and that's why I'm doing like that. And then another variable. I think I have just 10 minutes, and then I would like to quick and display name objects I'm putting to here, and then set display name and set name. Now I have these two objects. These are the setup. As you can see, I have very straightforward structure. HTTP request came here, and then I generated my variables. Then I set up all my things, and then my condition and the other items will come here. Underneath of these items, after that point, anytime I can go to dynamics, and this is just will be a silly example, but what can I do? I can create a new record. Any dynamics objects I can connect to here, any entity. I will put the account, but you can think this is the languages entity, and then I can add this variable name. Also, we are able to do some items here. You can see concat. I'm able to use the concat. And from here, concat display name and name. This kind of the items I am able to use here. I have created the new item here. Then this is nearly completed. I will return a object to here, a response I have to return. Response, and as a response, status code to the label or something, and then body. Just I'm returning back to the. I'm trying to be quick. The ID. As a parameter, I come back, and from the ID, which ID in that point is the account unique ID, I can return to as an object. These also saved. So only thing here, after save this one, I am copying the URL of this and putting this URL to here. Now my objects are completed. Now when I send a request to this object as a start, it will read my database. From my database, for each items here, it will create an account. So it's a little bit silly. I didn't create a language entity. That's why at the moment we are getting from the language, but we are putting to the account entity. That's okay, but the important point here, you can see how an enterprise level LogicApps structure here. So we have HTTP objects, we have variables, we have scopes, we have conditions, we have responses, and then we are calling to one object from the another object. While we are calling to these objects, we are checking the for each items. For all the for each items, we are able to go to the settings. We have to check the concurrency and the degree parallelism issues. And for the DB connections, we are able to just use the OData as a filter of a query. We are not allowed to use the standard SQL queries here. So now we set for the enterprise level LogicApps, and then you can put underneath all this the different objects, different things, and then we can continue. So basically, this is the basic structure of one item. Then we can take the Postman. I think in this Windows machine, I don't have the Postman. Meantime, while I'm downloading the Postman, you can ask the questions, then I can answer the questions. if you have one.
Thanks for that, Baris. There are actually no questions, believe it or not. I believe most people are just simply just sitting back and obviously enjoying you go through all the steps. So there are no questions for the time being. I think they're just sitting back amazed and watching you. So there is a question now, sorry. So Anil is asking the question, suppose I am creating a HTTP triggered logic app, which is updating a D365 record and calling it from an Azure function. If the update is failing, is it possible to pass the exact error message returned by the update step back to the calling Azure function, please?
I have to think about that issue. Just a second. First of all, creating an HTTP triggered logic app, which is the updating the exact error message. I think yes, this is possible, but I have to check that these items for this one. After the creating the new record, at the second stage, just a second, not here. Yeah, rename the settings. Asynchronous pattern here. By the way, you have to be careful about this one as well. For this one, timeout, retry policy. I think it was one of these, but I don't remember. But yeah, there is a way. I am sure about that because there were a couple of articles about that. I read these articles, but at the moment I don't really remember.
Thanks, Baris. Yep.
But if the Emil, I think, asked this question. If send a message, private message for me, then I can answer this one. I really know there is a way for this one, but I couldn't remember now.
Yep. And Ambesh, who's also been covering LogicApps, also confirms that it's completely possible. So we can definitely follow up on that. I know that Ambesh does have a session on LogicApps as well. So we can definitely cover that for you and show you that in that following session. So Denny's asking, so what you've demoed is already possible in Power Automate. Could you tell of a real time scenario for a complex integration?
What do you mean with the complex integration? So this is
a real-time scenario. So he's referring to synchronous integration using LogicApps.
Okay, actually, usage of the flow and the LogicApps are very similar. This is the point. So the sequence and then what we are using here, all this sequence and the environment, everything is here. The important point here, while working with flow, you are working with the Office 365 user credentials and then very limited resources. For the LogicApps, we are using with the different credentials at the background for the operations, real user authentications, and then important point here, this is enterprise level application, and then which means the capacity and the high volume structure is better than flow in here. Okay.
Hi, Denny. So hope that answers your question. So there is a final question, and it is obviously by Javed, who's asking, great demo, thanks for that. Secondly, it might be a simple question. Can we parse receive JSON from a HTTP endpoint within Logic app, therefore read values and compare such as if language equals German, etc., and based upon that, do some action in Dynamics? So essentially, he's asking if we can compare data within the Logic app before performing operations inside the CDS.
Yes, we are able to do that. Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. We've completed. We're out of time. So thanks again, Baris. Always a great pleasure. Please remember to fill out the surveys. We are awarding prizes for the best session voted today and tomorrow as well. So please support the speakers and complete your survey so you can provide your feedback on the sessions and any other future session you'd like in the future. So once again, thanks again for that great hands-on demonstration. They are always thoroughly valuable. So thanks again, Baris. Make sure everyone follows him. Thanks, Danish, as well. Danish, who's obviously been organizing this event along with Yash. And thank you. Okay, so without further ado, I believe we are ready for Victor Dantas. Victor, I see you there.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, well, it's good morning for me. I don't know